Great pleasure right now to welcome back to the program a good friend to the show. He's been with us several times before. You all know him from his work on television and films and, of course, on the stage. One of the legends of comedy, Shelley Berman, joining us today. How are you, Shelley?
Thank you very much for that very nice intro.
I do it every time the way you write it for me, so I hope I delivered it well.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm feeling pretty good. I hope you are, too.
Doing great, yeah. And first of all, congratulations again. You're going to be back on another season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, I see. That's one of my favorite characters you do.
It all depends on whether he needs me or not.
You play, of course, Larry David's dad on that show, and you had some classic episodes on that in the past. I'm sure they have some funny things in store for you coming up this season.
Well, I don't know, but I haven't been doing as many of the shows as we used to. But it's still nice to be on Curb. I still like to do it.
And one of the great things about that, we've talked about it before, it's heavily improvised. I know they have an outline of the script, but you get a chance to use what you've done your whole career is your improvisational skills, right?
That's correct. It's marvelous because it's the best possible kind of acting there is. And for those of us who are capable of it, it's really a blessing.
It must be kind of fun. I mean, that's your stand-up act is based on that. And of course, you've started in what became Second City. I don't think it was called that when you started it, but that type of acting in comedy, it was kind of revolutionary, wasn't it, when that started?
Yes, the improv attitude was, and the technique was brand new. And however, it was brand new for us, but during the time in the renaissance of commedia dell'arte, they were using improvisation there, too.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch, and sometimes you can kind of see, the surprise on the other actors. I noticed just when I watched some of the shows you were on, one of my favorites was a couple of years ago when you were all in a restaurant and they were all doing cursing at each other. It was pretty funny. I think the chef had Tourette's or something, and they were all trying to make him feel better. It was one of the funniest scenes.
Everybody had to say the dirtiest, filthiest things he could. And I chose to do it in Yiddish.
That's right. It was one. There is a place for that kind of humor, and that was one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen. That was great.
That was funny.
Well, since we've talked to you, I know you've done some other projects. I know you did the Adam Sandler movie last year, Zohan. That must have been fun.
That was fun. It was fun working with him. He's a good man. And also playing a judge on Boston Legal was really fun.
Oh, of course, yeah, the jibber jabber judge. We've talked about that before.
That's right. No more jibber jabber.
Unfortunately,
I loved playing that.
Yeah, I was saying, unfortunately, they canceled that show. I thought that had great ratings still. I don't know why they did that.
I think David E. Kelley, frankly, wanted to try something else, that's all. He's a brilliant man, brilliant writer, and I think he had his eye on trying a different kind of show.
That must have been a lot of fun on the set. I would love to see some of the outtakes of that show.
Well, it was, actually, we were strictly business, but watching these actors, because I was in a position to watch these great actors, my God, Candace Bergen, and James Spader and Bill Shatner. I had $1 million ticket to a great theater.
Some of those monologues that Spader would get to do, I don't know how he learned those.
He summed them up, and he really did it. He really was all business when he came to work.
But the jibber jabber judge, that's going to stand out, Shelley, as one of your favorite characters, I think.
Yeah, I love playing it. Boy, that I love it.
I see too, just checking out your website, and I don't watch the show because it's maybe a little out of my age range. But you were on Hannah Montana. That must have been interesting.
I did. I did the dentist, that mean dentist, on that one show. I loved working with that kid. She's just remarkable, very talented young woman. And she was a dear to work with, although I kept telling her, you're too hard to work with. She laughed, she understood.
Then Pushing Daisy, that was another one of those kind of quirky shows. I guess it's not coming back next year, but that was an interesting show to do.
I couldn't figure it out. I know I did it, but I still don't remember what I did.
There's a great picture of you on your website of one of the scenes on that.
Figure it out.
Well, one thing that we haven't talked about in the past, Shelley, that you've done quite a bit of, and just hearing some of it on your website, is your poetry that you write. I was particularly interested in the one you did on the great comedian Pat McCormick, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago, and you wrote a poem about that.
Well, comic. It was his death that I wrote about, and I went to visit him, and he was in better shape. I had gone to visit him a few nights prior, and it was terrible to watch him, terrible. And this other time, I knew he wouldn't die that night, and so I wrote about that. I wrote the poem about this. We all knew that there was no stopping what was happening to him. He was going to die. And then, of course, there was the second part of that poem, which was he's gone. And but writing poetry is not new for me. I began as a dabbler, writing free verse poetry, and then I studied it during the period. See, I only recently did I retire as a teacher at USC, and in a writing program called Master of Professional Writing. Mm-hmm. But after that was 23 years that I taught there. But I studied poetry with the head of our department, who is an international poet, James Reagan, and I realized, my God, I can do it. So I kept it up. That's it.
If people want to hear some of it, just go to ShelleyBerman.com, your website, and you have some of it posted right there. But, yeah, we talked in the past teaching at USC, the writing course, and working for so many years in television and passing that information on to students. That must have been rewarding for you.
Yes. I've had some students who've done very, very well in writing for television or writing film. And so I'm pretty proud of that, and I'm sorry I had to retire but I was getting a little tired of working there, and after 23 years, I think it was a good idea. So, but right now I'm still chomping at the bit. I still want to go back and teach.
Colleges now are doing web classes. You could probably do something that way, Shelley. That way you don't have to go to classroom.
No, I got to have the people. I really need the people. I have to work with them.
Right.
Yeah. So, but no, maybe I'll do more with my website. I don't know. But right now, I'm very interested in just being around. That's all. Each day